Over 40 years ago, an object was launched which has become the messenger of human presence to the universe. One of the techniques through which it is going to communicate that is the golden record, the technology of which is based on the vinyl record. This is the story of human ambition. This is the story of human perseverance. And this is the story of the rhythms of 20th century.
So let's start from the beginning. Phonomatograph was the first invention to emit sound, but Thomas Edison's tinfoil phonograph was the first to have the capacity to record and play back sound. It looked something like this. Even though it was a brilliant idea, the main problem was the playback quality was miserable, and hence, when vinyl records were invented, they caused a revolution in the field of acoustics. So let's know more about them.
Vinyl records are made from a material which is called as polyvinyl chloride. Sound travels through air, disturbing the packet of air molecules by making some vibrations, and those waves reach to our eardrums by sending electrical signals to brain. But how? Now let's zoom into a vinyl disc. A vinyl disc consists of grooves which represents hills and valleys. The left groove is called as a left channel, whereas the right groove is called as a right channel. Whenever a needle presses these grooves, the vibrations are produced. In order to understand how this mechanism works, we should know its principle.
The idea of sound being grooved onto records and back seems but a little mind-boggling. Being armed with the knowledge as to how vinyl records came around, how they are made, and the structural design, let us talk about the main domain of physics governing their empire, and that is electromagnetism. Zooming in a little bit more, we find that the main law concerned is the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, proposed by Michael Faraday in the year 1831. Faraday's law is a basic law of electromagnetism, which helps us predict how a magnetic field would interact with an electric circuit to produce an electromotive force, or EMF. This phenomena is known as the electromagnetic induction. The law states that if relative motion exists between a conductor and a magnetic field, the flux linkage with a coil changes, and this change is flux produced by the voltage across a coil. Faraday's law basically states that when a magnetic flux or a magnetic field changes with time, the electromotive force is produced. And now, with the Faraday's law by our side, let us understand how it all works.
Now let's take a step further and try and understand how a vinyl record player works. Now, the main ingredient in the working of the vinyl record player is nothing but the grooves that are engraved on the black disc. Now, how are these mechanical grooves converted to sound? To try and understand this, we need to understand the three main parts of the vinyl record player. The three main parts of a vinyl record player are the needle, the cartridge, and the tone arm. The needle. Now, in this picture, the black portion is nothing but the black disc with a groove engraved into it. And the blue portion is nothing but the needle, or what we call it as stylus. So when the needle moves through these grooves, vibrations are being created. We'll come to the part of vibrations in the next part. Second part is the cartridge. So the vibrations created in the needle are carried through the cantilever, and these vibrations cause the magnet in between to move left and right. So when the magnet in the middle moves towards the left coil, an electrical signal is being generated in the left coil due to the Faraday's law. And similarly, when the magnet moves towards the right coil, the electric signal is being generated in the right coil. These signals are then carried through the tone arm, and from the tone arm, it has been carried through the amplifier, where in the amplifier, these two signals are then amplified and then separated as left channel and right channel. And from these channels, the signals are being passed through the left and the right speakers. After this, these left and the right speakers vibrate, and through which we can hear the sound. And we call this sound as music.
After understanding the beautiful working of vinyl records, let's understand why did they fade away. After all, they were so popular between 70s and 80s. To answer this question, we must understand the disadvantages of vinyl records. The biggest disadvantage is depicted in this picture. The picture simply says that data is the new oil. Today, data is priceless. The more data a device can store, the better it is. And vinyl records perform poorly in this regard. The next point is that the data with high bass and amplitude consumes more physical space on the disk and thus lesser data can be stored. Records have an issue with high frequency. In some extreme cases, the record breaks, while in most cases, the output is hampered. As shown in the animation here, when grooves are smaller than the stylus, the frequencies aren't traced properly. So after having gone through all the points, let's move on to the conclusion.
Finally, let us have a recap of everything we've learned about vinyl records. These beautiful objects have been around since the year 1948, and they have been intricately designed.
Sound is produced from a vinyl disc because of the vibration of stylus over the grooves. And this complete mechanism is based upon the principle of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction.
As the record spins, the sound vibrations get converted to electrical signals, which is then amplified and passed through the speakers, which is called as music.
Although today we use digital media platforms for most of our music needs, we all owe some credit to the pioneering technology through which sound was recorded and played back successfully, namely the vinyl records.